Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 10 o'clock and it's the last day of the month. It's Ask JA Tuesday, Ken at 10. Yes, indeed, a new feature. Every Tuesday we will answer your property-related questions. Things that you've asked us over the week, messaged us, some people email us. Sometimes we have problems right here in the office. So if you've got something that is on your mind, it's property-related, perhaps you're thinking of selling, you're in a chain, worried about an offer, worried about the market, give us a call, hit us up, send us a direct message, email us, or even telephone us, as Ibrahim did this week. A guy called Ibrahim called me yesterday, and he watched us on YouTube. Hi, Ibrahim, I'm sure you're watching today. And we had a long chat about his property-related issues. Basically, what happened to Ibrahim was that he's got had a tenant who moved out but didn't provide him with the keys. He then left his girlfriend in the property, who was not a tenant, but was nonetheless in the property, and Ibrahim changed the locks. Now that's a big no-no. Never change the locks if you haven't got vacant possession, because it's illegal to do so, and you'll end up with a lawsuit chasing you. So what then happened was, because he changed the locks, he then got threats from a solicitor saying that we'll be chasing you through the courts. So he rapidly changed the locks back again, which was the right thing to do. It wasn't the right thing to change the locks in the first place, but it was certainly the right thing to do, was to grant possession again. And then the question from there is, well, what does he do? What does that mean? You know, there's a tenant, but it's not his tenant. Well, the answer is that the tenant is still the original tenant. And the reason they're still the original tenants is because they didn't provide vacant possession at the end of their tenancy. Therefore, they're still liable for the rent and the tenancy for the whole period. So the angle is that you evict the tenant even if they're not there. What's happened in Ibrahim's case is that now the solicitor's chasing him and saying you must grant this new person a tenancy, otherwise we're suing you for damages. And I'm saying to Ibrahim, I don't think you're getting the best possible legal advice here, because A, you don't know whether this person has a right to rent in the UK, so it could be in breach of legislation yourself. B, do you really want to rent to this person? You've already said that there's no rent coming in. So I gave him the number of a lawyer who's a specialist in landlord and tenant. As another handy hint for you, if you are considering evicting someone, or you've got a landlord and tenant issue, don't go to a general solicitor, go to a specialist, because landlord and tenant law changes every week. Literally every week I read a new article, new case, whatever it is. So you really need a specialist to help you with this. So I hope that's helpful. So remember, if you've got a tenant, they move out, they leave someone else in there, don't give you the keys, they have not relinquished the tenancy, never change the locks because it's illegal to do so, and make sure that you proceed as if the tenant was still in the property. Hope that's helpful, Ibrahim, and I wish you all the best. He's going to update us with what actually happens next. He's going to give us a call as things progress. The best piece of advice I gave to Ibrahim was, dump the lawyer you've got like a stone because they're giving you bad advice so far. Get a new one that's property-related specialist. And I know it seems like you're paying twice, right? But bottom line is that extra few £100s that you're paying out now will save you months of unpaid rent, and maybe even years of aggravation, certainly lots of stress later. So always pay for the best advice. Never pays to go with the cheapest, especially when it comes to managing agents and lawyers. Couple other things in the news. Leicester's on a lockdown still. That's continuing. All non-essential retail is closing tomorrow. Got to feel for them, haven't you? And here are we looking for our haircuts next Saturday. So yeah, shame for them. Shelter came out with a report saying that 4,300 social homes will be built this year. That's a drop of 30% social homes. And they're proposing that the government compresses its 5-year, 12.2 billion affordable homes program into 2 years to beat the slump. Well, that seems quite sensible, doesn't it? Because actually that would bring forward essential works anyway, which the government can do, they can afford to do. And that would give a lot of construction workers work where they'll be struggling because of the pandemic and the lack of house building over that period. So that seems eminently sensible. Sometimes they don't come out with most sensible things in my view, but I think that's a really sensible suggestion. Landlords have urged the government to end the ban on evictions during the coronavirus pandemic. This is from the National Residential Landlords Association. What they're saying is, we don't think it should be extended. In fact, at the moment, there are certain cases we could do with getting on with in terms of case management. Generation Rent said that benefits and legal system will need to be made fit for purpose before the ban is scrapped. Well, with the greatest respect, it's not landlords' fault if the legislation doesn't fit, and you shouldn't penalise landlords for the fault of legislation in the first place. So in my view, you know, we understand that there are some people that need protection, but the system itself does provide protection, and landlords need protection too. Some of them rely on this as their main source of income. So that's it for this week for Ask JA Tuesday and Ken at 10. Remember, if you have any comments next week, please do get in touch with us. If you've got anything you'd like to ask about, next week we'll be talking about the property market, in particular selling. Should you, shouldn't you, and what's the market like right now? Hope you've enjoyed it this week. Hope you have a fantastic day. See you same time tomorrow for Ken at 10. Take care.